Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for August the 16th through the 22nd, 2021. So before we begin, I'd just like to welcome everyone, and especially anyone who's new to the Angel School community for the very first time. So before we get into the reading, just like to first make you aware of my special offer, angel reading. My half-hour reading for $77 is being extended to one full hour and has been I've been doing this since the pandemic began, so it's still available for the month of August. And if you'd like to get an angel reading with me, you would go to my web page, theangelschool.com/services page, and there you will find the half-hour reading for $77 as it normally would be, and you would just select that. And then within 24 hours on the first business day, I will send you a confirmation email noting the special offer for one full hour. And then all the instructions you need to set up an angel reading with me, you will find in the email, so that everything is there. So everything you need to set up the reading will be printed there. Okay, so let's take this time now to take a deep breath. And it's interesting because as I was beginning to speak, I was seeing the energy of a mermaid with her back to me, sitting on, looks like the bank of maybe a rock or something of this nature. So when that energy comes up, for me, this is about our emotions and navigating, and how we're navigating our lives emotionally. And I feel like they're writing the word father. So I feel like there is probably maybe some kind of imbalance in the masculine energy, or because they also wrote before the reading started Emperor and the angel number 26, so that's all coming back to my memory now. So this might be, an issue with authority. And I mean, it could be an authority figure, since they wrote the word father as the archetype for us to sort of explore. And since that word emperor had come up earlier, and one moment, because I placed my angel number book in another place. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, so looking at the emperor as a father figure, and someone. So that means that there may be a sense of you being emotionally triggered by authority of some sort, and I'm not quite sure on which level that this is occurring. If it's occurring in terms of government, or in terms of a supervisor, a boss, or or you might be fighting yourself in this way. Okay, so you might be sort of feeling restricted by protocols, rules, procedures, methodology, approach. I'm seeing the word rehearsal. So let's say it just comes to mind, like, if you're an artist, performer, or you're practicing a skill and you're over the right word, assessment. So you're maybe sort of analyzing things, being very critical and analytical in how you're approaching your practice, and so you're thinking about all the things you've been taught, and you just can't. It seems like those things are restricting you, and you might be in this place where you need to really just explore and sort of be more intuitive, sort of impromptu in your approach, and just sort of go with the flow. And then we come back to the mermaid here. But let me just read the number 26 that they showed me earlier before I began the reading. It says, positive affirmations help your situation improve quickly. So what I feel I'm hearing is that you need to have a positive attitude, a positive approach to whatever it is that you're rehearsing or practicing, or the skill that you're that you're wrestling with, or an ability that you're wrestling with. It says, the angels urge you to only think and speak about your desires and not to affirm your fears, as they are just an illusion. And so somehow in your practice, you're focused on all of your fears. So basically you're working towards what could go wrong. You're trying to you're looking for the fail safe, I think the word is, to prevent something from going wrong. And so this is really has become the goal. Now you might think that you're doing all of that and you're worrying so that you can succeed. And there's an element of this that appears to work for us. It's the way that we kind of keep ourselves on our toes. But the thing about it is that it's sort of that masculine, that emperor, father archetype where, it's all about following the rules, staying on track, being organized, being disciplined, and you need to let your heart just flow, and express itself and to channel. And so in this reality, it's about really focusing on the goal that you want and not the things that you fear as you approach your goals. So I'm seeing the word rejection. And some of you might be fearing rejection. And this is sort of interpreting the writing. This is the answer, okay? So your fear of being rejected, like I say, is sort of determining how you are approaching this goal. And so all it does is create this constant argument, the word I'm seeing, within yourself. And what you're doing is, the other word I'm seeing is that you're excluding the infinity, or the infiniteness. No, that's not right. The infinity, you're excluding the aspect of yourself that is infinite, where the possibilities are infinite, the solutions, the answers, the gifts, your gifts are infinite in what they can do, show you, the potential that you have not allowed yourself to realize because you're so stuck on the rules and the procedures and you're worried about failing, and you're worried about rejection. And they keep writing the word majesty. They keep writing the word majesty in front of me. And this reminds me of the card I was working with at the beginning of the week for myself, the Swan card. And this sense of poise and calm. Okay? So that you don't allow yourself composure, that you don't allow yourself to be in a mode of reaction. So you don't want to be reactive to everything that's happening. You want to practice being composed and calm and peaceful so that you give yourself a chance. This will sort of help you to reframe your actions and your thinking. And it's a sense of you're fighting with something, and you're feeling like you're losing the battle, like your voice is losing the battle here, like what you want, what you desire, or your faith is losing a battle. And that's going to escalate if you are just reacting. Like the first thing that comes out of your mouth, or the first trigger, the way that you're triggered, and then you just, respond to that, all of that kind of thing, and then you do something that you can't take back, or that you keep doing it the way you are, and it's like this power struggle, and you're just not the one with all power, and that awareness of that fear, that separation, where you feel like everybody else has the power and you don't, and you need to bring into balance. You need to see yourself on an equal level. As they say, on a spiritual level, you need to see yourself as equal, because that thinking is what's undermining you and making you feel like, this authority is not respecting you, but just dictating. And it's sort of like you keep picking up the rope, like it was a tug of war. I remember I was in a teacher training one time, and this high school teacher was doing it, and she said that, with kids, with like, if they keep doing things that trigger you, don't pick up the rope. And she explained to us why, that we had to look at it from their side and what's going on. And if you address it in that moment, you react, then you're gonna escalate. And why they were trying to get your attention, to just, blow off some steam, to release, to get attention. They get your attention, but they get the person they don't really need. And so we have to be aware of not picking up the rope. Don't pick up the rope. And don't pick up the rope that your ego hands you either. Don't pick up the rope that your ego hands you. That is that fear, that rejection. Don't pick up those ropes. Okay. Just take a deep breath. And we're coming out of a time like after the 8th, with the Stargate and the Lion's Gate, and that 5-5 frequency of huge changes rumbling. And we had Archangel Haniel last week with the sensitivity card. So we know emotionally that we are going to be going through these transitions, these energetic transitions. They're huge, and they amplify what is already tender within us. And that's so that those things can be brought up, because we tend to suppress them. But we want to deal with them. We want to be present with them. And so this composure allows you to be present, so you can finally honor what is there and heal it. But when you're just in reactive mode, all you're doing is reacting to your ego, which means you're mirroring your ego. And when you're mirroring your ego, you're just replaying the record over and over again. And in your life, it just seems like the same old, same old. And so we need to have the majesty of this swan and the majesty of our I am presence, so that when the ego reflects, the I am presence gives a new input to put in that mix, in that scenario. And that's when the dynamic shifts. Now, your I am presence isn't expecting you to be 100% perfect, to be fully the embodiment of it, but to move towards it, to show you what shift in power you've yet to truly experience. This balance of power. And it will come from your alignment with your I am presence. And it will start with this dignified composure, with the intention of it activating your connection or awareness to your higher self's perspective. But first, we got to stop perpetuating, reacting to the egos. I don't have enough. You know, the powers that be, they're undefeatable. I'm powerless. No one respects my voice. See, this is the ego, because the ego teaches separation. It teaches us to see ourselves differently and in ways of quality and quantity, so that we will sort of keep measuring ourselves according to the end of the stick that we think that we've been given. So if you feel like you're the one who's getting the short end of the stick, then that will be your play in the game. It'll be your piece that you always play in the game. And then you'll get the results that mimic, that mirror that attitude. And so I want you to pay attention this week because I'm feeling in the center of my chest like a little bit of anxiety, just sort of surfacing, rising up. It almost feels like a bubble. And then at the top of it, it gets really tight. And what you need to do then is just truly breathe. So I want you to breathe into that space, into what seems to be pain that just seems insurmountable. But notice as you take that deep breath, feel it just easing away. And I feel it coming out of the back, literally out of my back, the back side of my heart chakra, and rising up my spine. So the back side of the front chakras tell you how you present yourself to the world, and the back side is about how you see yourself. So the back side of any of the chakras. And so with the heart chakra, it's telling us that, in a way, that you see yourself as being the one with, and I'm saying it, no spine. So you see yourself as someone who people can just walk all over, no matter how much you try to be, do the right thing. They don't listen. They keep walking over you, and you're not getting anywhere with all this quote unquote spiritual stuff. It's just holding you back. And sometimes you feel like you just got to get out there and fight the hell with it. And there is a time and a place for everything. But imagine that you speak up for yourself with this dignified composure. The dignified composure doesn't restrict your voice. It reminds you to channel what your higher self needs to speak through you for everyone, including yourself. And I'm not saying that that's going to, sound like a beautiful symphony. It might sound like Schoenberg, where notes just, they're atonal. But the thing is, whatever it needs to come through, you need to allow it. But you need to be connected to something greater than you that has a greater perspective, so that you make that real impact that you've been trying to make all along. And that greater than you is really you. We're just not used to seeing or expecting this as our potential, so we never get access to it when we need it. And that's usually because our composure is frantic. And we feel like we're small. And so this is something for us to really open up to. So as you just, continue breathing, and then just really tune into your heart and see this beautiful pale pink, or very like almost white with pink light, very pale pink light in the periphery. And just focus there and call upon the angels of love. You have this beautiful white light. Call upon the angels of love to enfold you. And they're showing me this sort of trust exercise we do in improv, where the mermaid was actually doing it. She just fell back into the angels of love and trusted that they would have a net to catch her. And that's what you need to do this week, is trust that the universe has you, that they will always catch you. They will never let you hit rock bottom or fail. If you truly want to succeed, you truly want to overcome the situations and problems that plague you, they will catch you if you have faith. So just think about that this week. All right, let's take a look at the Archangel card that fell to the floor. All right, let's see Archangel Sandalphon, and it reads gifts from God. So Archangel Sandalphon is known as sort of the archangel of music as well, and who also aligns us with prayers, carries our prayers up to God. And so Archangel Sandalphon also works with your Earth Star chakra. So let's ask him to touch your Earth Star chakra, to light it up, to help connect you with your divine blueprint. And we're going to ask him to tune you to the notes of your divine blueprint. And for him to release those gifts so that you understand your divine blueprint in terms of your purpose at this time, the things that are your priority, the lessons that are unfolding for you, and to help you find ease in being present and responsible, so that you don't repeat these lessons again. So it says, we angels bring you gifts from your Creator. Open your arms to receive. So be aware in this week of the gifts that are coming to you. And I don't know why they're showing me sort of a table, like in a restaurant, like a circular table. And I've never seen this before. So symbolically, it gives me a sense of, so an exchange, right? So usually we share a meal there. I feel like there might be some kind of exchange is the word that comes to me. Something, and I saw the word productive. So it could be a meeting. It could be something where both sides get something out of it. A conflict might be resolved. I'm seeing the word conflict. Maybe it's a conflict in ideas, or it could be a contract. But it seems like because it's at this sort of dinner table, this round table, where there are no points, that means that things flow. It's smooth all the way around. It's like oneness, right? And so there's this flow, this sort of this divine feminine, where everybody's listening, and there's approach, there's flexibility. So something in this regard, where the exchange, the sharing, is uninhibited and productive. So if you have a meeting, if you have a conflict with a person, it's going to be productive. It's sort of like a two of cups feeling, right? Things balancing out, things agreement. An agreement is reached, is another word I'm seeing. Okay, so pay attention to this kind of gift from God on this frequency, on this level, this kind of experience or scenario, is the gift that I feel is coming through. Okay, let's take a look at the cards for the week and see what message is coming through. So for the beginning of the week, the Two of Swords. And that's interesting because it feels like, things start off where you don't know which way to go, right? It's a decision, and you're over analyzing the situation and emotionally. And so the thing is that sometimes that clear choice, and I think we were talking about this a lot, maybe in client readings as well, but that clear choice is that logical next step. And so there's that balance between what's the practical steps that I need to take and the bigger picture. And sometimes, the bigger picture is what our heart, the goals our heart has set out for us. But sometimes we have to be practical. We have to think of the logical steps. Sometimes the next step is the logical one in order for the bigger picture to come more fully into focus. Because usually that bigger picture is not clearly focused. You have a general direction. And then you need to work in the day-to-day, in the practical realm, you need to think about what's logical. So sometimes if you're really feeling stuck in what is the right decision, you're trying to fulfill that bigger goal without having all the clarity. So in those days, you have to realize, okay, that's not where I'm being guided to focus. There's some small step here that I need to focus on. And what's logical without the emotion? What gives me a sense of relief, or what's just better for this moment? And sometimes it's just the best that you can do. Certain decisions are just the best that you can do for that moment. They may not be perfect for the long-term goal, but they get you moving again and focused on what are really the priorities. So don't let something distract you from being focused on what the priority is. So pay attention to that. All right, take a look at the card for the middle of the week. And we have the Ace of Wands. And so here we have this feeling of, an opportunity, something, new and fresh starting, this possibility. And so you really don't want to get, stuck here. As soon as you make that shift, is what I'm getting. As soon as you make that logical decision, it'll free you up. And then this new opportunity, it could be a new idea, or a plan that you haven't, that you couldn't access before, that now you see it. And it's also important why we need to let go. Just going back to the main thing we're talking about with the table, you know, when we let go a little, just to, to get out of our own way, then we can actually access the exchanges that we need. We can find the compromise, the agreement. We can really move forward on something that we all share in common. So be aware of this card in this week and not letting yourself, get stuck because you're being stubborn about something. And they just showed me the Roman numeral 4, and I immediately think about the emperor, right? And that's how that that could be a negative of the emperor being stubborn. And so you don't want to, be, if you're finding yourself being stubborn about things, then you're actually being that imbalanced archetype of the emperor. You're being the lower vibe rather than the higher vibe, which is thinking about the because he's in charge of a whole realm, right? And so his job really is to be an unbiased figure, to be a generous and kind leader, always thinking about what's in the highest good for everyone and not just his own personal interests and ambitions. So you might not like authority figures, but you might be actually role playing one at the moment, and that's why. So remember, the only relationship you're having is a relationship you're having with yourself. So whatever is mirroring, whatever's going on, somehow that there's an attitude, an aspect of your, like say, in stubbornness, that is causing you to project that, and then for you to have it mirrored back to you. All right. So let's take a look, and we have another ace. So the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is usually about the heart just opening, and that your heart has found a new, how do I want to say this in this context? Your heart has found a new infatuation, right? It could be romantic, it could be just emotional joy that you about an idea or thought that you have. So the thing is that when you get out of this, you open up for opportunities, and where for your heart to finally find something that, like, it feels like what I feel like this is like you finally get on the right track. Like you and your heart are unified again, and this causes you to feel an enormous amount of joy and relief and release. And before, when I was seeing the Emperor number 4, I saw an axe. So you need to cut something loose. You need to cut an attitude or something, and you need to trust. Because I'm seeing the letter T in big letters, and that's my symbol for the word for trust. And they're writing the word equality. So in this week, if you find yourself reacting to your ego, and you're seeing, you're projecting, your ego's projecting that, authority figures are trying to control you, or blah, 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 whatever that is, and that's that whole separation dynamic, then you need to shift that. You need to, go within yourself and really connect in with your higher self, so that you can find something that you and that other person share in common. That will help you to heal that imbalance and start to really come into a position where you feel this equanimity between you. Because that's the only way you can get anything done. That's the only way you can really make progress. And that's the only way that you can always be assured that you are always on track. in terms of being productive, being effective, etc. All right, it's a little dark today, so I'm sorry about that, but weather. All right, so we have the Five of Wands. And so this is about competition. This is a card about, you know, and what I love about this is it shows a competition, but it shows that everybody has a lane. And quite frankly, you may need to stay in your own lane and focus on yourself. So don't give power. First of all, don't get trapped in comparisons. Focus on what your best is. What is your best? And really, bring that out. Really bring out those qualities. Figure out how you can use what you know your best is. You take that and use it in the way that best suits you, that shows you in your best light. But don't worry about what other people can and cannot do. Stay in your lane. Everybody, this is a card at its highest ideal should be about healthy competition. And a healthy competition is when everybody brings out the best in each other. And you might say, well, oh, this person's really good at this, but then you should also go back and compare yourself and say, well, come back, give yourself a score. Well, I'm really good at this. Oh, and that person, and he's really good at this, but I'm also good at this, and back and forth. And so what you see is you got a list of opposites, and then you realize I could use some of those, and he could probably use some of those. And what do you do with that? You collaborate. So now you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people who are at the top of their game in their field, in their lane. And now what you have are expertise that can collaborate. And when you do that, you really have something extraordinary. So be looking at, get past whatever these barriers are and start looking at, with all these aces that we have here, look at where you can go. What can you launch with all of this? What is it? What are the ideas that you can launch that you're passionate about now, that stir this whole new passion that motivates you? So what it does is put you on this totally positive track and takes you off that very negative one. And what is happening in this week is an opportunity to take the gifts you've been given from God and to put them to the greater use for the highest good. So the gifts are already inside of you. And this week, what Archangel Sandalphon is helping you to do is remember what your true gifts are. The ones that you keep underestimating, the ones that you have beat down to death with your criticism, and asking you to dust them off with your own heart, with self-acceptance and love. And then get out there and engage with others who have expertise as you do that you can exchange to help each other move forward for a greater cause. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings and look forward to speaking with you again next week. And for any of you that might sign up for an angel reading this week, I look forward to hearing from you and to connecting with you. God bless you.